If you like to talk to tomatoes, if a squash can make you smile, if you missed big ideas mottos, just sit back and wait a while. This show has made a comeback. VeggieTales, 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 VeggieTales. May you laugh, may you cry, have some fun. VeggieTales. Cast is back, writing good, CG great. VeggieTales. Bible stories, Christian show, unashamed. VeggieTales. There's never ever ever show like VeggieTales. There's never ever ever show like VeggieTales. It's time for VeggieTales. Yep. I'm not kidding. And here it is. It's finally here. VeggieTales has made a comeback. And oh my gosh, I am so happy. Why? Because it is so good. Actually, this episode, the best Christmas gift, is awesome. Is really good. It felt like it was what it was supposed to be in every way. And it's been a long time since VeggieTales actually did that. And ever since April of 2019, they announced that they were coming back and doing it in a kind of Muppetish way by putting them on a show, on a theater show. And many of us who love the Muppets and VeggieTales were very excited to see this. And how was it? Well, after months of waiting and watching it, at last, it was really good, and there was not one trace of atrocity in the house. Everything felt like it was back to normal. Well, almost everything. There were some new things that were really good. And it felt like that the makers were getting back to their roots, what they wanted to do from the very beginning, ever since they made VeggieTales. So, what's the plot? And I am going to warn you, this is spoilers ahead. Bob, Larry, and the rest of the VeggieTales gang are going to put on a Christmas play, but they have no focus until they find a letter from a kid named Arthur. His problem is that he's not thrilled about Christmas at all because his father has lost his job and the family has all moved, and times are tough. So, the VeggieTales gang do what they can to show why Christmas is important, even in the tough times. From Larry finding a tree. How does he even not know what a tree is? That's the running gag, by the way. And Archibald trying to get Jimmy and Jerry to eat Christmas foods from around the world, to the story of a junior shepherd named Junior, big shock. Through the story, they show how God came to help us, and they encourage Arthur to spread his glory through the world by showing his love. Where do I start about this? I think I'll just start out with how I felt about it. I got the same feeling I did when I watched the 2011 Muppets movie. The feeling that something had died. Something I had loved died temporarily and then came back to life in a both brand new and kind of old way. Everybody's personalities are back. Larry's comedy is balanced again. Bob is the likable storyteller and occasionally frustrated character that he was supposed to be in the first place. And, everybody else is also the same. And one of the characters that Atrocity in the House tried to get rid of, or at least watered down, was Mr. Nezer. And he's back. He's back with the same name, though definitely a distinctly different voice actor. Thankfully, it's not Rob Paulson. Thank you. But it's not Phil Vischer either. I guess they had controversy about it or something. And amazingly, they brought back Goliath, a character we had not seen since Dave and the Giant Pickle. And that was a real thrill. The songs, once again, are by Kirk Heinege, and they're fun, hilarious, occasionally heartfelt. Oh Goliath song is awesome, and probably my favorite. The effort is in the writing. You see it. You see the effort in the writing of the songs, the jokes, and the plot line once again. And anytime I watch this, I don't feel like somebody was handed a chart of things that people like, so they needed to shoehorn it in. All of it genuinely felt like something that Phil Vischer and Mike Nawrocki were passionate about. How do I know this? Look at the interviews and compare them. When they did the very first episode of VeggieTales, Where's God When I'm Scared, they were excited. They were passionate. They loved this. They were like, we're going to do this. This is awesome. And then when they were doing Atrocity in the House, they said it like they were reading a script off camera and not really thrilled about it, kind of standard. And when it comes to this episode, they were like, yes, we are back. I am seeing my old friends again, something like that. It was in their faces and their tones, and I just love it. And what's new about it? Well, amazingly, the animation is a lot better than before. Not just because it's not Atrocity in the House, but because the lines are smoother and the characters' textures are terrific. I mean, you see the 3 dimensions of the character, whether they be a squash or a cucumber. You see the texture, you see that they are the vegetable that they're supposed to be, yet somehow living. And also they're putting them in a theater, like I said before, gives them a kind of Muppet feel to the plot. If that's what they're going to do for their following episodes, I am absolutely looking forward to it. I will also mention that I don't think I've ever encountered an episode where they directly say that Jesus is God in the flesh. They'll say he's God's son, but he was and yes, he was, but he was also God in the flesh. And the fact that VeggieTales actually says this, directly says it, and not just skips around it, is incredible. And also, I don't think I've ever heard VeggieTales directly address the fact that this is a broken world in need of a savior, which is true. I mean, I've heard Adventures in Odyssey say it, but not really much VeggieTales. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it or anything, but it is the truth. We are a broken world in need of a savior, and the fact that VeggieTales is outright willing to say that, and I mean, even if it makes them lose viewers or even if it makes them unpopular, is commendable. Especially in a culture that really, really likes to water down the truth and water down everything direct. Tell me I'm wrong on our culture liking to water down the truth. And in terms of the message relating to Christmas, VeggieTales has often explored different angles on the subject, whether showing it's about that it's not about getting but giving, from the toy that saved Christmas to the true meaning of love and the depth of it, Star of Christmas, or we give and love one another because God loved us first, from the St. Nicholas episode. I have never seen a VeggieTales episode that actually teaches that Christmas was the beginning of the end of the devil's reign. Easter Carol touched on that, but not a Christmas episode. The fact that they willingly talked about tough times during Christmas and what to do about it is amazing. And it personally reached me because, well, much like the kid in the episode, I've moved away. I didn't just move away from friends, but I moved away from family too, and living on my own. And this was a comforting reminder for me that God came to help us through the tough times and wants us to share his love and glory throughout the world, which is something I want to do more often and am going to do more often. Now, as a verdict, do I think this is the greatest VeggieTales episode or even among my favorites? Not really. Maybe I just need to give it some time. But do I think it's a great episode in general? Absolutely. I love what they did. I love that Phil Vischer and Mike Naraki were willing to try once again away from DreamWorks expectations. And they've joined Universal, which I don't mind as much, as long as they're allowed to be themselves and do what they've always been passionate about. And be unashamed in doing it. And retell Bible stories in a goofy yet honest way so that families can relate. If you are a VeggieTales fan, I absolutely recommend this. It is a terrific comeback and worth a viewing. And just be sure to stay after the show to hear Phil Vischer's enthusiasm and see Shama and fans do remixes of two great episodes. 10 out of 10.